Hello friends, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink, back with another video using the newest STAMPtember limited edition collaboration set. Today's collaboration is with Art Impressions, which every year is a favorite. I have been a fan of Art Impressions for years, especially their like sassy ladies images like this. Love them. Love the images, love the sentiments, all of it. Art Impressions also has a ton of like really neat, especially in the last few years, like really neat, super like interactive sets. Again, I need like, not just a second, I keep saying it's like, I need a second job to, you know, purchase all of this brand. I need like 4 more jobs. Anyway, I took this hug in a mug image and stamped it onto Neenah Classic Crest Solar White 80-pound cardstock with Simon's Intense Black ink. And then I am coloring in the image with Copic Markers. And I basically chose markers very similar to the packaging. That is another thing that is a favorite of mine, specifically with Art Impressions, is all of their packaging has full color art of the stamps. And their coloring is just on point. I've talked about this in other videos. I'm pretty sure I raved about it in last year's STAMPtember set and other ones as well. I love the coloring. The way the shading is done is always something that I would never think to do in this way. And in a sense, it's more simple because you can see everything I do, I'm doing 2 color blends. That's it. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm not doing a ton of blending and definition and all that kind of stuff. I'm just doing 2 color blends, following the coloring on the packaging to show where like the highlights and the shadows are. And I just love it. I also took color cues from the images as well, because that's another thing. Colors that I just normally wouldn't reach for, you know, or color combos I wouldn't reach for. And I love that. I did think about really like basically just copying the packaging right out, but I decided I wasn't going to do any of the real like the patterns, like they, you know, added stripes and patterns to the sweaters and all those sorts of things, which also is a really fun way to liven up, you know, outline images. And I really like that. But then I was also thinking, like, as I started editing this, I'm like, oh, this would have looked really cute if I had paper pieced their outfits. Like, paper pieced their leggings and gave them crazy patterned leggings and fun patterns. Like, you could go all out. The ideas are just starting to roll again. But anyway, I kept it fairly simple. Just kept it sort of basic. Also, because honestly, I had to. It's a lot keeping up with the amount of videos I post this month. So sometimes simple is a good thing. And besides, images like this, they take center stage, you know? So I just enjoy the coloring process. And like with the size of the images and everything, you just color them, add a little bit, and it's done. So I just kept going along and filling in areas, and then I did choose a couple, I chose a couple of my own colors rather than like the packaging. I don't even know why. I can't remember why I'd even pulled out a couple of the colors, but then I was like, I'm just going to go with it, you know, go a little bit outside the box. So I just kept going along, filling in, you know, each area. I messed up on that one's mouth, the one on the left. I colored in the area that was supposed to be her teeth, but I go back in with a white gel pen later and fill it in. It's fine. So I went with a kind of a purpley gray color for her. This one's scarf and boots. She's my favorite. Like the way she's just like, yas, as she's drinking her hot chocolate. I'm like, that's me. That is 1,000. And the outfits. I'm like, that's totally me. I live in leggings, big baggy sweaters, literally. Like, I've got sweaters that go down nearly to my knees and, you know, pair of leggings and, you know, when it gets colder out, my Uggs. Basic. I am a basic white girl. But anyway. Am a messy bun. Am a pumpkin spice. Yeah, seriously, basic. Anyway. Did very simple. Just a little oval, you know, shadow with my W3 like warm gray marker. And then I pulled out my white gel pen, added a few dots and stripes to give it a little pattern, kept it simple. My camera did cut off as I was adding the little bits, like I added kind of little stitch lines to their mugs because that was also on the packaging and I thought it was kind of cute. So I did all that, and then I trimmed off the top and bottom of this panel, and I took some navy cardstock and I used one of the little scallop dies from Simon's Slimline Borders and Edges wafer die set. This actually came out last STAMPtember, I think. So I die cut that to give it that cute little scalloped edge. And then I'm going to adhere that to the top and bottom of this panel just to give it, like I said, like keeping it simple, but giving it that little extra something here and there. So I just use my craft tacky glue to adhere those into place along the top and the bottom. And off camera, I had white heat embossed a couple of sentiments from this set onto black cardstock. I had a hard time choosing which sentiments to use because I like them. Like, I go loco for hot cocoa. But I chose the main one I chose, nothing like a baggy sweater to hide the marshmallow fluff. Bingo. So I white heat embossed that, die cut it with a circle die, and then I white heat embossed another sentiment and trim that down. That'll go on the inside of the card. Which, speaking of which, card base is Neenah Desert Storm cardstock, of course. And I scored it at 5.5 inches as a top folding A2 card. I put it back in my MISTI and took the main image again. And I'm going to stamp that on the inside with Simon's Cobblestone ink. I've been talking about, it's either this one or Khaki from Simon Says Stamp that I like to use when I'm stamping onto Neenah Desert Storm. Khaki is a bit more of a brown tone, but it's a nice tone on tone with Desert Storm. And then this Cobblestone is a little bit more gray tone. So it just depends on my mood. They both are fabulous, but those are my go-tos for stamping when I'm stamping on the insides of my cards. So I added that, and then I added the sentiment, which has Make Mine Sinfully Rich with Marshmallows, Heavy Whip, and Stretch Pants. Love it. So inside of the card is done. For my main panel, I'm going to coat the back of this with Simon's Big Mama foam tape, as one does, so that it gives it just that little bit of dimension. And then the sentiment I also put foam tape on, so I can pop that onto the card. And I could have left it here, but I needed to add something. You know, I didn't do any splatter. This is much more clean and simple, you know, and you guys know I struggle with clean and simple. So you could leave it here and it looks great. But I realized I had this pack of Party Time sequins, and of course someone's driving by with a really loud engine. Anyway, that came out in the STAMPtember release, and some of the little confetti pieces in the pack matched the colors I colored the images with. So I pulled out like the darker blue, the lighter blue, and the green confetti pieces and adhered them to the card, and that finished it off. So I will have a link to the stamp set, just like all the other STAMPtember collaboration sets. This is limited edition, one and done. When it sells out, it's gone. I'll have a link to the set. I'll also link to everything else I use, the wafer dies, etc., in the description box below the video. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing, thumbs upping, commenting, all of it. I very much appreciate it. And I'll see you all very soon in the next video. Bye.